Thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. Today I wanted to talk to you about an article that is against a piece of legislation. They oppose this legislation. This is the American Legion. And I wanted to jump into that. But before I do, I kind of want to set the stage. There has been other pieces of legislation put out to protect veterans against claim sharks, agencies or organizations out there that are not accredited by the VA that state that they'll help you get, from whatever, 0% to 100%, and it's only going to cost you whatever it is, right? 5 or 6 months worth of your increase is typically what you see. Now, there's been some, information thrown out there that's a little loose, and I just want to kind of tighten that up a little bit for you because, look, at the end of the day, when you file a claim, it's for you. And who's going to benefit? You. And you need to make the right decision for you. You get the thing, right? So it's all about you. But when you have limited information, it's hard to make sure that you're doing what's right for you. So I'm going to kind of just shed a little bit of light on some of the things that I've heard and seen. So one of the things that I see a lot is VSO. VSOs suck, they're not good, they're bad, whatever. It's a people business, first of all, so you can't do a blanket statement. That's ridiculous. So not all VSOs suck. The other piece to that is often referred to in VSO, what they're talking about. Now, this is important, so please hang on, because there's too many misperceptions and misinformation out there. VSO actually could mean a couple different things, depending on the context. So VSO, what I see often on YouTube is referring to the Veteran Service Organizations, VSO. However, there's another meaning to VSO, and I'll tell you that in a minute. But the Veteran Service Organizations are those that were enacted by Congress, nonprofit, right, serving veterans, your American Legions, your DAVs, Veterans Foreign Wars, Marine Corps League, Order of the Purple Heart, the Enlisted Association, MOA, the list goes on, right? So those are your veteran service organizations. And yes, they do often have an accredited representative that can help with claims, right? Sometimes it's full-time type positions that are actually paid for. Other times it's kind of somebody that just kind of volunteers to help out here and there. Now, the other VSO, and again, hang on with me here, the other VSO is Veteran Service Officer or Veteran Service Office, right, is the other kind of meanings of VSO. Now, a Veteran Service Officer in many states throughout our nation, many states have what's called Veteran Service Officers. These Veteran Service Officers typically, if it's a small county, they usually work in a county. And then within that county, if it's a small county, it might just be a veteran service officer that's employed by the county, and they serve you, the veterans, and help you with your claims, and they are accredited with the VA. Now, in bigger counties, there'll be a whole team, right? So you might have 5, 10, 20, 30 representatives working in that veteran service office. The Veteran Service Officer is at the top. They're the director, for lack of a better way of putting it, for the department or the program for veteran services and so forth. So they're the head of that. And then they have a bunch of veteran service representatives, or another name, that work for them, helping with claims for veterans within that county. Now, they can also help outside of the county, but primarily their focus is the county. Veteran Service Officers and veteran service reps and the whole office, everybody that works in there, are employed by the county typically, and they'll receive funding from the county and from typically the state veteran service or veteran affairs department. So for the state, not the federal, but the state Veterans Affairs. So that's usually how that works out. Now, your veteran service officers and everybody else in there, veteran service reps and all that stuff, are typically full-time, unless it's, you'll have a random half-time, part-time type person here or there. But primarily it's, they're full-time people, and they're running hundreds and hundreds of claims individually and thousands of claims as an office annually, typically, right? Unless it's a really small office. But So there's a lot of experience is the bottom line within these offices. So if you have an office, a veteran service office that has 5, 7, 8, 12 people, kind of a medium-sized office, and you have everybody in there that has done claims and are doing claims and are doing continuing education with the VA on any rule changes and things happening within the VA system, you're able to leverage all of the experience in that office. So if you run across something that's new or different or something you haven't seen before, you can talk with the other people in that office and get a consensus, or maybe somebody else has already crossed that path, right? These are free services. If I were personally looking to file a claim, and I'm going to try to put my broad hat on, right? It's not me, just me as a veteran, not me with my current knowledge base, right? I would leverage information that I find on YouTube that could help me kind of guide myself. I would utilize a free veteran service office or veteran service officer if that's available in my county or state, and I would utilize that. And I would start the process that way. And if it all works out, great. And then if it doesn't work out, I might file my first appeal, depending on the flavor and how things are feeling, with my veteran service officer or veteran service office or veteran service rep. And I'd file my internal kind of, whether it's a higher level review or supplemental. And then if I think I need to push it to the board later, I might maybe consider looking to pay for services. I would never myself pay for services up front unless there was just some kind of way outlandish situation in which I would kind of be forced to do so. But for most people, I think personally, there's a lot of resources to kind of get your mind right, open up kind of your window of opportunity with VA claims, and then you would also be able to really kind of, I guess, gauge how you're going to work with the Veteran Service Office. They'd be your second set of eyes, and then they would file the claim for you, make sure everything goes on. And because they're accredited, they have access to everything within the VA system. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into it here. I know that was a long, front-loaded explanation. If you've hung on, great. Thank you so much. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. I appreciate it. So the statement here from the American Legion on opposing this piece of legislation, it opens up with, "We oppose the PLUS Act," so PLUS, PLUS Act, "because we stand for veterans. Dear American Legion family and friends, let me say this in the clearest terms possible. Veterans should feel safe and confident when filing for claims, knowing that no matter who they choose for representation, the Department of Veterans Affairs has reviewed, approved, and accredited that party. That is why the American Legion opposes the PLUS, which is Preserving Lawful Utilization of Services for Veterans Act, opposes the PLUS Act. If enacted, the PLUS Act would transition our system of securing benefits for disabled veterans to an unregulated, profit-driven industry. Currently, there are unaccredited third parties that represent themselves to veterans as legitimate claim service companies to assist veterans in obtaining their earned benefits. The PLUS Act aims to legalize these companies by allowing automatic accreditation after 90 days, regardless of whether the VA has completed its verification process. The VA accreditation program exists to ensure that veterans and their family members receive appropriate representation on their VA benefit claims. The American Legion wants to hold bad actors accountable, not give them a free pass to prey on veterans. Our team is working hard to protect all veterans from the PLUS Act. In September of 2023, the American Legion sent a letter of opposition to the congressional representative sponsoring the PLUS Act, and I personally voiced our opposition during my congressional visits last month. However, there is legislation that would help veterans elude the clutches of bad actors. In an effort to protect our nation's veterans, the American Legion supports the governing Accredited supports the Governing Unaccredited Representatives Defrauding VA Benefits Act. That's the GUARD Act. This legislation would reinstate criminal penalties for unaccredited claim representatives who charge unauthorized fees while assisting veterans with filing a claim for VA disability compensation benefits. The American Legion continues to muster support to protect all veterans and their families from claim sharks. Join us in telling Congress to support the GUARD Act. And that's from the National Commander for the American Legion. So, look, at the end of the day, is there a place for other agencies that are for profit to help veterans? Sure, I guess. I mean, I don't know, right? It's kind of it's a really, I don't know. It's an individual thing. I will tell you that lawyers who are accredited with the VA and claims agents, not veteran service officers or organizations, but claim agents are also accredited with the VA. 99.99999% of the time, you as a veteran cannot seek their services, their paid for services by a lawyer or by the claims agent. You cannot seek their services until you've filed a claim on your own. So they won't help you with your first initial claim. They're not allowed to. They can only help you in the aftermath. So there's just some food for thought there. All right, so with that, we'll go ahead and conclude it there. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you just bringing you up to speed. Whether you support or oppose either one of those, right, the PLUS Act or the GUARD Act, reach out to your congressional member and let them know. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.